So the term native, the dialect to it at what stage?
At the start, at the very start. At the very start.
Right from the very beginning, it was called the
Yes.
native Baptist.
Now it came under the Zion for a while.
Yes.
Because, you know, they were looking for respect, and they felt that if they gave this guy that came from Jamaica in 33, they would get some respect. Now, when he kind of wanted to take the money from Bethel and St. John's and spend more of it in Zion, and wait a minute, it's time for you to go. And of course, one of his successors, decided he would close down Zion and sell the land. Well, this is the point where Zion took their own changeover, and instead of him being locked in up the church, they locked him out of the church. And they took it to court and won the case, because they were actually paying him. So they said, well, if we're paying you, how you can take it from us? You have to ask us that question. And they won the case in court. Now later on, Reverend Winship, the Baptist, recalled him to England. Well, the people in the Bahamas liked him so much that they said, come back, we'll support you. And when he came back, he couldn't get back into Zion, so this is where the Baptist Union comes in now. And their first church was right across from the, I think it's court number 6 now, across from the library.
Old Salem.
Old Salem, yes. Yes, and Mount Carey is a part of them. So the Baptist Union really becomes more respected in some ways than Zion. Because Long Reach, they're really strong in Cat Island and in Zoma. Our friend, Mr. Hanna, he doesn't vote to go with the union. So apparently the church in Grand Bahama splits up, but I guess they didn't have enough to keep the Baptist Union going, so got a hold. It looked like they started 2 churches, but they never got a hold, so it reverted to Zion and Grand Bahama. And they expanded the Baptist churches nationwide, purchasing property all over. Papi Rama actually expanded it, St. John's Native Baptist Church. There's still land deeds in a number of islands, including Long Key, where it says Rama's Chapel and Chapin's Chapel. Well, Chapin, I'm going to ask some, help me to write, because I always pronounce it. Say so I can let these people. Huh?
No, I don't remember.
You don't remember, but I know. But you know I got it wrong. Okay. Anyhow, he buys land, and so you see on Long Key, you see Rama's Chapel, and for want of not knowing the right pronunciation, Chapin's Chapel on the actual original land grants. And this happens on a number of islands. They don't call the church Zion or St. John's. They call it after the purchaser who was in charge at the time. And I guess that's probably why you got the Baptist multiplying by dividing and not giving them churches. He died on the 29th of March, 1883. He's buried at St. John's churchyard, and there's a great marble obelisk recognizing him. And the obelisk still stands to this day if you go to the Bahamas and John's Church. Now, there's another guy who was really instrumental, especially in the eastern part of the island with the churches. And his name was Reverend Thomas Eve. He was born in 1862 in Grand Bahama, and he retired as a police constable. He's handed over the reins of all of the Baptist churches in the northern Bahamas, except in 8 Mile Rock and Bimini in 1928. This was the final retreat of the Baptist mission from the Bahamas and in the Native Baptist Church. And the Guardian says it was the biggest film we've seen in the Bahamas ever. You know, he's just as easy to cry over your loss of a dead one as you are yourself. And he really is appreciated by all classes and faiths. In fact, guy from the Presbyterian Kirk is the one who held his funeral. They were willingly. They were basically, after all of that had happened, finally the local members just kicked them out and put one of their own out of Cat Island in charge. And so, on the departure of Reverend Poole, who was the last missionary, he's kind of scrambling, and he feels that if he hands it to Reverend Hill will keep it in good shape. All the ones in Abaco and Grand Bahama, except 8 Mile Rock and Bimini, in case they come back. Well, they never come back, and Reverend Hill kind of folds himself into the local Zion missionary. And he's one of the leading citizens of Freetown, one of the founding fathers of Waterkey and the church on Waterkey, which is an island north of Grand Bahama, the only inhabited island other than Sweetens Key off of Grand Bahama. And it's on the north side, not to the east of Sweetens Key. He's generally acknowledged to be the oldest living person to have lived on Grand Bahama. Of course, he's dead now, but he lived at a ripe old age of 113 years. Now, we say we'll lightly touch on other churches, but if you look down there, you'll see there's 131 other churches to lightly touch on, or all together in Grand Bahama, so it's going to be a very light touching. Basically to say that the Anglicans now have 8 churches on Grand Bahama, the Zion Missionary has 20 churches on Grand Bahama, and between them both, there and prophecy, we have Seventh-day Jehovah's Witness, the Hebrew congregation, Roman Catholic, you name the denomination. There's even some of the Muslim brothers. They kind of keep it on a low key. But I happen to know because I had a client one time who came down and he wanted to find his Muslim brothers, so I called somebody who I thought I should know, and sure enough, they were having services in somebody's house. So, you know, the 131, I'm going to say this much. If you really want to know who they are, just type in churches in Grand Bahama, and then we come up, there's a whole list of them. Give you all the pastor's name, how you can contact them if you so wish. So, basically, from a place where there was 7 stations, 2 Anglicans, 5 of the Baptist faith, no churches, but having stations held. Even had churches out on the rock, to a point now where some 170 years later, there's 131 churches in Grand Bahama. So the church history of Grand Bahama is really alive and kicking. I can't give you the counts of the bars. You know, they say for every church Anyhow, thank you for having me here. If there are any questions, only about a quarter of the churches on Grand Bahama. We have Baptist, we have Church of God, INC.